The betrayal. High Counselor Venus' crystalline fingers traced the holographic projection of Earth's expanding sphere of influence. Her iridescent eyes narrowed as she watched the red dots of human colonies multiply across the star chart, spreading like wildfire through previously unclaimed systems. Behind her, the other members of the Galactic Alliance's inner council shifted uncomfortably in their anti-gravity chairs. 70 years, she said, her voice carrying the weight of centuries. Merely 70 standard years since they achieved faster-than-light travel, and already they control more systems than the Meridian Collective acquired in their first millennium of space travel. Ambassador Krell, his scaled skin reflecting the soft blue light of the council chamber, leaned forward. The humans' rate of expansion is concerning, but they've shown no signs of aggression. Their colonies are all established in unclaimed systems, following every protocol we've established. That's precisely what troubles me, Vina responded, expanding a particular section of the map. Look at their settlement patterns. They're not just claiming random systems. They're strategically positioning themselves at key transit points, resource-rich sectors, and defensible positions. It's methodical. Military. The third counselor, a massive being of living crystal named Axon, chimed in with a sound like wind through chimes. The humans have aided us multiple times. The Regelian plague would have devastated our outer worlds if not for their medical expertise. Their engineering innovations have revolutionized our terraforming capabilities. And that's exactly why we must act now, while we still can. Vina shut down the hologram with a gesture. They're making themselves indispensable. Every cycle, more Alliance worlds adopt human technologies, human methods, human ideas. Their influence grows not just through territory, but through culture and innovation. The chamber fell silent as the weight of her words settled over the gathering. It was Krell who finally spoke, his voice heavy with reluctance. What do you propose? Vina activated a different hologram, this one showing a detailed tactical display. Operation Firebreak. We engineer a crisis that will force humanity to concentrate their forces in a single sector, away from their expansion corridor. While they're contained, we can implement restrictions on their growth, citing security concerns. You're talking about deliberately endangering human lives, Axon protested, his crystalline form clouding with emotion. This goes against everything the Alliance stands for. I'm talking about preserving the balance of power that has kept peace in this galaxy for 10,000 years, Vina countered. Humans are too young, too aggressive, too unpredictable to hold the kind of power they're rapidly acquiring. Their entire history is written in warfare and revolution. Do we really want such a species becoming a dominant force in galactic politics? The debate raged for hours, but in the end, Vina's arguments prevailed. The Council voted 4-2 in favor of Operation Firebreak, with only Axon and another minor counselor opposing. As the others filed out, Axon lingered, his crystalline form dimmed with concern. "We're making a terrible mistake," he said softly. "You don't understand humans as I do. They're not just aggressive and unpredictable. They're intuitive, resourceful, and above all, they remember both friendship and betrayal with equal intensity." Vina dismissed his concerns with a wave. All the more reason to contain them now, before they become too powerful to control. But as the operation began to unfold, none of them could have predicted how their careful plans would collapse in the face of humanity's greatest strengths, or how their betrayal would lead to consequences that would reshape the galaxy itself. In the human embassy on Alliance Prime, Sarah Chen, Earth's senior diplomatic analyst, was working late when her quantum computer flagged an anomaly. The Alliance's diplomatic corps had been unusually active in the Outer Rim, making what appeared to be routine administrative adjustments to patrol routes and trade regulations. But Sarah hadn't spent 15 years studying alien political patterns to miss the subtle signs of coordination. She began cross-referencing the changes, building a map of shifted resources and altered protocols. Slowly, a pattern emerged, one that made her blood run cold. The Alliance was creating a vacuum of power in a specific sector, while simultaneously strengthening their presence along humanity's major expansion corridors. Computer, compile all recent Alliance military movements in the Outer Rim, she commanded, her fingers flying over the holographic interface. Compare with historical patterns of containment operations. The match was undeniable. The Alliance was preparing for something big, and they were doing their best to keep humanity from noticing. Sarah reached for her secure communicator, then hesitated. If she was right about this, it would shatter the foundation of human alliance relations. If she was wrong, she could cause a diplomatic incident that would set back years of careful relationship building. The communicator felt heavy in her hand as she made her decision. Sometimes, she reflected, the most important choices came down to trusting your instincts. She entered the emergency code for Earth's Central Command. This is Analyst Chen. Priority 1 alert. I need to speak with Admiral Hassan immediately. Authorization code Sierra, Charlie 79 Delta. We have a situation. In the depths of space, invisible to all but the most sophisticated sensors, Alliance ships were already moving into position. Operation Firebreak was beginning, and the galaxy held its breath, unaware that this attempt to contain humanity would instead unlock its full potential and change the course of galactic history forever. Hidden agenda. Admiral James Hassan stood at the viewport of the EFs of Hyperion, watching the stars streak by in FTL travel. Sarah Chen's report lay open on his neural interface, each detail more disturbing than the last. 20 years of military service hadn't prepared him for this level of betrayal from humanity's supposed allies. Signal from the Arcturus defense grid. Sir, his AI assistant announced. They've detected unusual energy signatures at the edge of their sensor range, consistent with cloaked vessels using Alliance tech. Hassan's jaw tightened. How many? Initial estimates suggest a battle group, at least 15 capital ships. The pieces were falling into place. The Alliance wasn't just planning to contain humanity. They were positioning themselves for a full-scale military operation. But why now? And why risk everything they'd built together over the past 7 decades? Connect me with the Joint Chiefs, Hassan ordered, and get me a secure channel to Counselor Axon. If anyone in the Alliance might help us, it's him. Before either request could be processed, proximity alarms blared across the bridge. A massive ship dropped out of FTL directly ahead of them. An Alliance Dreadnought, its weapon systems powered but not yet targeting. Incoming transmission. The AI reported. It's High Counselor Vina herself. Hassan straightened his uniform. Put her through. The holographic projection materialized, showing Vina's tall, crystalline form. Admiral Hassan, I apologize for this unorthodox meeting. Counselor, I assume this isn't a social call. Indeed not. We've detected concerning activity in the Outer Rim. A previously unknown species has begun probing Alliance and human territories. We believe they pose a significant threat. Hassan's tactical training screamed that something was wrong. And you needed a battle group in stealth mode to tell us this. Vina's expression remained neutral. We're implementing new security protocols. All major powers are being asked to temporarily consolidate their forces to better coordinate our response. All major powers, or just humanity. A flicker of something. Surprise. Concern. Crossed Vina's features. You seem troubled. Admiral. What troubles me, Counselor, is that our long-range sensors show Alliance forces moving to cut off every major human expansion corridor. That looks less like coordination and more like containment. Before Vina could respond, a new alert flashed across Hassan's neural interface. Emergency transmission from the Arcturus colony. He kept his expression neutral as he read it, even as his blood ran cold. The Alliance ships near Arcturus had just opened fire on the defense grid. Counselor, he said carefully, I suggest you order your forces to stand down immediately. Otherwise, this conversation is over. Admiral, please understand. This is for the greater good. Humanity's unchecked expansion. Hassan cut the transmission. Battle stations. All hands prepare for combat. And get me Earth command immediately. But as the Hyperion's crew rushed to their stations, Hassan's neural interface lit up with dozens of similar reports. Alliance forces were attacking human installations across multiple sectors. Operation Firebreak wasn't just a containment action. It was a coordinated military strike. In his private quarters aboard the Alliance flagship, Counselor Axon received Sarah Chen's encrypted message. The human analyst had managed to piece together far more than anyone had expected. His crystalline form dimmed with shame as he read her analysis of the situation. "Computer, prepare a data package," he commanded. "Everything we have on the precursor signals from the Galactic core. The ones Vina is choosing to ignore while she focuses on containing humanity." As his computer compiled the data, Haxon reflected on the irony of the situation. The Alliance was so focused on preventing humanity from becoming too powerful that they were ignoring the real threat, the ancient and terrible force awakening in the Galactic core, a force that might require humanity's unique capabilities to defeat. Back on the Hyperion, Hassan reviewed the initial battle reports with growing concern. The Alliance's attack had been precise and well coordinated, but something felt off about their tactics. They were being too careful, too measured, as if they were trying to minimize casualties. "Sir," his AI interrupted, "I'm detecting unusual energy readings from the Galactic core. They don't match any known signature in our database." Hassan frowned. "Show me." The holographic display showed a massive disturbance, something that dwarfed even the current conflict with the Alliance. As he studied the readings, Sarah Chen's voice came through on a secure channel. "Admiral, I'm sending you data from Counselor Axon. The Alliance, they're not just afraid of our expansion. They're desperate. There's something coming, something they don't think they can handle alone. This attack, it's not just about containing us. They're trying to force us to consolidate our forces because they think it's the only way to survive what's coming." Hassan absorbed this information, his tactical mind already formulating plans. "So they betray us to save us. That's not going to work out the way they hoped." "Sir," his AI interrupted again, "the energy readings from the core are increasing exponentially. Whatever it is, it's waking up." As alarms blared across human space and Alliance ships pressed their attack, Hassan made a decision that would echo through history. Humanity wouldn't just defend itself. It would show the Alliance exactly why they should have trusted their allies instead of fearing them. "All ships," he broadcast on the command frequency, "implement Combat Protocol Omega. We're not just fighting for survival now. We're fighting to save a galaxy that's about to learn exactly what humanity is capable of." The real war was about to begin, and neither humanity nor the Alliance truly understood the scale of what was coming. But they were about to find out, together, whether they wanted to or not. The true enemy. The Galactic core pulsed with unnatural light. On board the ESS Hyperion, Admiral Hassan watched as the sensor readings defied every known law of physics. Something vast was stirring in the ancient heart of the galaxy, something that made the current conflict with the Alliance seem trivial in comparison. "New data from the core, sir," his AI reported. "The energy signature, it's not random. There's a pattern. It's a language." Sarah Chen, now aboard the Hyperion as special advisor, leaned forward to study the readings. "Can we decode it?" "Working on translation now," the AI responded. "But there's something else. The same signal is being detected from multiple points across Alliance space. Whatever this is, it's not just in the core. It's been here all along waiting." The holographic display filled with new alerts as the first attacks began. Massive structures, ancient beyond comprehension, were rising from dozens of worlds, both Alliance and human. They had been buried for millions of years, dormant until this signal awakened them. "Incoming transmission from Alliance High Command," the AI announced. "Priority 1. High Counselor Vina's image appeared, her crystalline form clouded with what Hassan recognized as fear. "Admiral Hassan, we must speak immediately. The situation has changed." You mean the ancient weapons platforms activating across Alliance space, or the fact that your attempt to contain humanity just left us all vulnerable to what's really coming? There's no time for recriminations, Vina insisted. The precursors, they're returning. We thought we had more time. We thought. Her transmission cut off as something massive emerged from hyperspace near the Alliance capital. The sensor readings were off the scale, showing a construct larger than any ship ever recorded. Its surface was alive with geometric patterns that hurt the human eye to look at, technology so advanced it seemed like magic. Multiple contacts, Hassan's tactical officer reported, voice steady despite the circumstance. Similar vessels appearing across both human and Alliance space. They're ignoring our ships entirely, targeting planetary populations directly. On the main view screen, Hassan watched as the massive precursor vessel unleashed weapons that defied comprehension. Alliance defense ships, among the most powerful in the galaxy, were swatted aside like insects. Their most advanced shields might as well have been tissue paper. "Sir," Sarah interrupted, Counselor Axon's data package. "I think I understand now." The Alliance found evidence of the precursors years ago. They knew something was coming, but they were too afraid to share the information. They thought if they could control humanity's expansion, somehow contain our development, they could control how we'd respond when the precursors returned, Hassan finished. Instead, they've ensured we're divided exactly when we need to be united. The bridge crew worked frantically as reports flooded in from across human space. The precursor machines were methodically targeting population centers, using weapons that seemed designed not to destroy, but to harvest. Millions were vanishing in flashes of impossible light. "Sir," his voice held an unusual note of urgency, "I've completed preliminary translation of the precursor signal. It's not a language exactly. It's code. They're not just awakening their machines. They're implementing some kind of vast program across the galaxy." Hassan's neural interface lit up with a priority message from Earth Command. He opened it to find something unprecedented. Emergency protocols granting him full authority to act on humanity's behalf. The civilian government was essentially giving the military carte blanche to do whatever was necessary to ensure survival. "Sarah," he turned to the analyst, "you've studied both Alliance and human tactical doctrine. What do you see that they don't?" She was quiet for a moment, her mind racing through possibilities. "The precursors, they're treating us all like resources. Their attacks are precise, methodical. They're following a program that's millions of years old. They're not adapting to resistance. They don't expect any meaningful resistance. And that's their weakness. Because they've never encountered humanity before." Hassan nodded, understanding where she was going. "And humans specialize in doing the unexpected." He opened a channel to all human ships in range. "This is Admiral Hassan. As of this moment, we are suspending all operations against Alliance forces. Our new priority is the precursor threat. I want every ship with functional weapons to prepare for immediate combat operations. We're about to show these ancient machines what happens when you underestimate humanity's capacity for innovation." Across human space, ships began to move. Not in the ordered, logical patterns the precursors' ancient programs were designed to counter, but in the chaotic, adaptive way that only humans could coordinate. The Alliance had feared humanity's potential for violence and rapid advancement. Now, they were about to see that potential unleashed, not against them, but in defense of all sentient life in the galaxy. On the Hyperion's bridge, Hassan watched as human ingenuity began to make itself felt. Ships were already adapting their weapons, trying new combinations, finding ways to slip through the precursors' seemingly invincible defenses. It wasn't about matching their technology. It was about finding the gaps in their perfect, programmed responses. "Sir," his tactical officer called out, "the Arcturus Defense Fleet reports they found a weakness. The precursor ships, they can't process multiple attack vectors simultaneously if they're sufficiently random. Their programming has limits." Hassan allowed himself a grim smile. The Alliance had feared humanity's chaos, our unpredictability. But against an enemy of pure logic and programming, chaos might be exactly what the galaxy needed. "Send word to all ships," he ordered. "Full autonomous combat protocols authorized. Let's show these machines what real adaptation looks like." The battle for survival was just beginning, and humanity was about to prove why they should have been seen as an asset, not a threat. The galaxy was about to learn why humans thrived in chaos, and why trying to contain such a force had been the Alliance's greatest mistake. Humanity's choice. Earth's Emergency War Council convened in the deepest bunkers beneath the Himalayas. Holographic representatives from every major human colony joined the session, their faces grim as they reviewed the mounting casualties from both the Alliance's betrayal and the precursor attacks. Admiral Hassan's hologram stood at the center of the chamber, his uniform showing signs of recent combat. The precursors have already harvested 12 Alliance worlds and 3 human colonies. Their ships are virtually impenetrable to conventional weapons, and their harvest beams can strip a planet of life in hours. And yet you're suggesting we help the very people who just tried to contain us. General Rivera's hologram flickered with barely contained anger. They brought this on themselves by trying to hobble humanity instead of working with us. "The Alliance made a terrible mistake," Sarah Chen interjected, her hologram stepping forward. "But we've analyzed the precursor attack patterns. They're not just harvesting populations, they're gathering resources for something bigger. If we don't stop them now, there won't be a galaxy left to save." The council chamber erupted in heated debate. Some argued for abandoning the Alliance to its fate, focusing solely on protecting human worlds. Others insisted that humanity's best chance of survival lay in uniting against the greater threat. President Garcia raised her hand for silence. "Admiral Hassan, you've been on the front lines. What's your assessment?" "Madam President, the precursors are beatable. Their technology is vastly superior, but their tactics are rigidly programmed. They haven't faced a species like us before, one that thrives on adaptation and irregular warfare. We've already seen success with asymmetric tactics." He gestured, and the central hologram shifted to show battle footage. Human ships, vastly outgunned, were using unpredictable attack patterns to confuse the precursor vessels' targeting systems. While individual victories were small, they proved the ancient machines weren't invincible. "More importantly," Hassan continued, "we've discovered something crucial. The precursors aren't just following a program, they're bound by it. They can't adapt beyond their original parameters. Every human victory, no matter how small, is teaching us more about those limitations." Sarah stepped forward again. "The Alliance feared our capacity for rapid advancement and unconventional thinking. But that's exactly what we need now. The precursors' technology may be millions of years ahead of ours, but their tactical programming is millions of years old. They've never needed to upgrade it because they've never faced a serious challenge. Until now," Hassan finished. "We can beat them. But not if we're also fighting the Alliance. We need their resources, their infrastructure, and most importantly, their trust." President Garcia was quiet for a long moment. "You're asking us to forgive an act of war against humanity, to help those who just tried to cage us?" "No, Madam President," Hassan replied. "I'm asking us to prove why their fear was misplaced, to show the galaxy that humanity's greatest strength isn't our capacity for violence, but our ability to rise above it for the greater good." The chamber fell silent as Garcia considered. Finally, she nodded. "Very well. Admiral Hassan, you have full authority to coordinate with any Alliance forces willing to cooperate. But make it clear, this isn't unconditional. When this is over, there will be a reckoning." "Understood, Madam President. There's one more thing." Hassan's hologram shifted, showing a massive engineering project. "We've developed a plan. It's risky, arguably insane, but it might be our best shot at stopping the precursors permanently." The display showed a complex network of quantum entanglement devices designed to be deployed throughout the galaxy. The precursors coordinate their forces through some kind of quantum network. We think we can hijack it, but we'll need to get our devices close enough to their ships to establish the connection. That's suicide, General Rivera protested. Their shields are impenetrable. Not quite, Sarah corrected. We've found micro-fluctuations in their shield harmonics. They occur in predictable patterns. Another sign of their rigid programming. With precise timing, we could slip small devices through those gaps. And once we're in their network, Garcia asked. Hassan's expression was grim but determined. Then we show them why it was a mistake to underestimate human hackers. The precursors might have superior technology, but they've never faced a species that turned electronic warfare into an art form. The plan was audacious, borderline impossible, but it embodied everything that made humanity unique: creativity, adaptability, and the willingness to attempt the seemingly impossible. One more thing, Hassan added. We've detected unusual energy signatures from the precursor ships. They're building up to something big. Whatever their final objective is, we believe they'll launch it within the next 48 hours. President Garcia straightened in her chair. Then we have no choice. Send word to the Alliance. Tell them humanity stands ready to help, if they're willing to stand with us. It's time to show the galaxy what humans do best: turning impossible situations into improbable victories. As the council session ended, Hassan returned to his ship. The Hyperion's crew was already preparing for what might be their final battle. But as he looked at their determined faces, he knew humanity had made the right choice. They would save the galaxy not through dominance or control, but through the very traits the Alliance had feared: their unpredictability, their adaptability, and their unshakable determination to defy impossible odds. Forging tomorrow. The combined fleet of human and Alliance ships hung in the void near the galactic core, a testament to how quickly circumstances could change. Just days ago, they had been enemies. Now they were humanity's last, desperate chance to save galactic civilization. Admiral Hassan stood on the Hyperion's bridge, watching as the quantum entanglement devices were loaded onto thousands of small, automated drones. Each one represented a piece of the most ambitious hack ever attempted, an effort to penetrate and subvert a network millions of years old. Final device calibration complete, Sarah Chen reported from her station. The Alliance engineers actually improved our original design. Turns out they've been studying quantum mechanics longer than we have. But they never thought to use it quite like this, Hassan replied. Status of the precursor fleet. The tactical display showed a massive congregation of ancient vessels, their geometric patterns pulsing with increasing intensity. The precursor ships had gathered around what appeared to be a construct of impossible size, a machine that dwarfed solar systems. Energy readings are off the scale, his AI reported. Whatever they're building, it's almost complete. Our best estimates suggest it's some kind of galaxy-wide harvesting system. Time to launch. Attack drones ready for deployment. Alliance forces standing by. But sir, the AI hesitated. The chances of enough drones reaching their targets to establish a complete network. Never tell me the odds, Hassan interrupted. Humanity didn't get to the stars by playing the percentages. Launch the drones. Across the combined fleet, launch bays opened. Tens of thousands of small automated craft streamed out, each carrying a quantum entanglement device. They moved in seemingly random patterns, following trajectories designed by human chaos theorists specifically to confuse the precursor's predictive algorithms. The ancient ships reacted exactly as expected. Their defenses activated in rigid, programmed patterns, swatting away drones by the hundreds. But they couldn't track them all. Where Alliance ships would have used organized, predictable attack formations, the human-designed assault was deliberately chaotic. First penetration confirmed, Sarah announced. Drone T-1789 has passed through a shield harmonic fluctuation. Quantum entanglement established. More confirmations followed. The precursor ships, for all their advanced technology, couldn't adapt to an attack pattern that defied their millions of years of tactical programming. One by one, quantum links were established. Network coverage at 15%. A solution so simple, yet so elegant, Vina mused. We would never have conceived of it. We were too focused on matching their power, their technology. That was your mistake, Hassan said quietly. You tried to contain humanity because you feared our potential for violence. But our real strength has always been our ability to think differently, to find solutions where others see only overwhelming force. In the days that followed, human and Alliance scientists began the monumental task of studying the deactivated precursor vessels. The ancient machines had been defeated not by superior firepower, but by the very traits the Alliance had feared: humanity's unpredictability, their ability to innovate, and their willingness to attempt the impossible. 1 month after the battle, representatives from every spacefaring race gathered on Earth for a historic summit. The old alliance was dissolved, replaced by a new Galactic Council where representation was based not on age or military power, but on what each species could contribute to their shared future. High Counselor Vina, in her opening address, summed up the lesson they had all learned. We feared humanity's rapid advancement, their chaos, their unpredictability. We saw a threat to the established order. Instead, they showed us that chaos can breed innovation, that unpredictability can be a shield, and that the established order sometimes needs to be challenged for the greater good. Admiral Hassan, listening from the audience, smiled slightly. The galaxy had changed forever, not through force or conquest, but through